What is up, guys? I'm back with another video about Roar. Who would have guessed? But for real, this time, the Roar Battle for Cortaan trading card game has a new expansion, the Endless Ember Keep. This was released as what's called a beginner deck builder. It has 90 cards in it. They're fixed. It's not like randomized booster packs like the expansion packs it had. This one is designed to just get you up and running. There are a few gods, a few shrines, a few battlegrounds, and then various creatures, units, spells, upgrades, what have you, that are enough to let a new player just build a deck right out of the box that is a little bit more synergistic than the previously released starter decks. I wanted to go over the inclusion of what's in this and just show you guys what you could expect to receive inside of your 90 card deck builder. The box here has a awesome dragon on the front here, which we will undoubtedly look at in a little bit. Sides and top, I'll just say Roar, and the back is just your standard starter deck box. It's got the same QR code. Anyone who wants to, feel free to scan that. But inside you also get a new rule book. It's basically the same rules, but has a couple of new keywords that are mentioned in this kit included inside of it. I'm getting into the cards inside the actual box. I'm going to look at first the gods that are included. You get Scorn, the hater of man. As you can see here, she has this sort of hot stamp foil thing on her. You can kind of catch in the light right there. It's the helmet and the two, I don't even know what those actually are, but you've got that in there. It's a nice little looking foil stamp. It's not too invasive with the text, as you can see. And there's about 10 cards or so in the box that have this stamp. But Scorn is the sort of, as you can see from the box, it's kind of about dragons. There's some dragons in it, and so of course I'm going to show off the dragon god first. It says the mother of the dragon beast units that she controls deal 1 additional damage against non-dragon beasts and has spell resistance 3. Pretty good. She's anarchy type, which is awesome for a few different card types. As you can see, these ones here do say Endless Ember Keep in the corner just for kind of naming the set that they're a part of. Then we have Zephlin. This one looks really cool. I really like the colors and stuff of this one. The Fairy Queen of Earth and Air. Once per game, Zephlin may redirect an enemy spell to target a valid target of her choice. However, if the target is one of her units, she must target another one of her own. So basically, just once per game, you can send a spell to that's going to hit something else. You can do it to one of your opponent's cards if you want to try to bait them into something. You can also use it if they're going to remove one of your good cards. You can say, no, pick this one instead. It's nobility and accord. Spell resistance 3. We have the Grey Watcher. This one's actually pretty cool. I like this guy. Each turn, one intercepting unit or site controlled by the Grey Watcher may gain vigilance. Basically counteracts first strike, as it would be called in Magic. In this game, it's preemptive strike. Spell resistance 3. I think he's pretty good too. The art on him is really nice. I like him a lot. There's another Grey Watcher as well, who's like a card. He's a unit that works with lore, I think. But this one is pretty cool too. We've got 2 more. We've got Serene, the Pragmatic. Once per game, she can search her future deck for 1 card and put it into her hand, then shuffle her deck. Has a spell resistance 3, so she's the same effect as Celeste. I don't know enough about the lore. There might be something about that where maybe this is Celeste at some point. I don't know enough of the backstory yet. I admittedly haven't read enough of the books or anything yet. There are quite a few that exist, so there is some story to pick up and learn a little bit more. I'm much more of a gamer than I am deep with the lore or whatever, but It's a cool effect. It was cool on Celeste. I think it's cool here too. And then we have Alana, the Hearth Mother. Once returned, she can prevent 1 damage to one of her units that intercepted an attack. That's cool. I believe this is a reprint from one of the first boost, the alpha packs. I think this card was included in there. If not, it was included, I think, in the escalation packs. There are a handful of reprints in this little deck, and this is the first of them. Then looking into the shrines, we've got the Living Shrine. This one's cool. We've got a cool kind of probably Dragon Beast type thing there. But once per game, the Living Shrine deals 2d6 to an assaulting enemy unit. That's just huge. Just free 12, but up to 12, 6 to 12 damage. 2 to 12 damage. I apologize. To a unit. That's pretty cool. The Sunken Shrine. I do like this one. The foil pop on this kind of actually clips in with like the spiral of this a little bit, and the colors just really pop well. Water Heavy with Magic. A place near the edge of an elemental incursion. An aquatic or water unit may recover lost health for every power you spend to a maximum of 3. This may be used during the Charge Reservoir phase. So at the very end of your turn, when you'd normally put your power away, you can spend some power to heal a card. That's pretty cool. Aquatic needs a little love. I think this is a good one. Sundered Isles. Aquatic units can reroll failed combat rolls of 6s. I believe this one is a reprint as well. There might be another one that's not sundered, but there's another Isles card with the same effect. But I believe this is the same card. This one looks a lot cooler though. The Secret Veil. This is a new one. Add 2 to a single power dice roll each turn to a max result of 6 if you control any beasts. I don't know. I mean, as you've seen me talk about in the other videos, all of the shrines that give you like +1 power, pretty good. This one gives you +2 if you have a beast. That's pretty easy to do. There are a lot of beasts. This card is sweet. This card, I adore. Black Oak. You'll notice here, cost 5 and cost 10 instead of 6 and 12. Crossroads of Magic. The flow of power pools around this ancient tree. Upgrading this shrine is less costly. Doesn't do anything else except for get you to 3 faster than ever. I think this card is probably really, really good. This is one that I will be using quite a bit, especially if I don't have one that like pairs specifically with the god I'm using. This card is awesome. Very excited about this. That's one thing that I noticed as I was going through the cards within this collection. It says beginner deck builder in here, but I don't think that it's like begin. The cards aren't bad. It seems more almost like a experienced deck, but like there's high quality stuff here. It's a very worthy purchase. I love that it's fixed. I bought 3 of these so I could get a full play set of everything in it. They're like $25, $29. I'm okay with that. We got a few battlegrounds here. I'm gonna go a little bit quicker here. The gods and shrines are really like the really important parts of building a deck, but this one, your Titanic and flying units can't be used here, nor can sights. Units with stealth or aquatic deal 1 extra damage. Spells and abilities that deal water damage are increased by 1 here. Solid rewards, even a Rigor's Award, that's great anytime you can get those. This one's pretty good. You'll notice a theme as we go through these. There's a lot of like sight hate included in this. Prison cells. Titanic flying units can't be used here. Makes sense. Small inside area. And you can't use sights. Units with stealth deal 1 extra damage here. Spells are no use here and do not function. Awesome. If you can build a deck built around not getting, just having like big units and protecting them from spells, that's a cool option. I don't know if this is like great because it's like not always good, but there are times where this would be awesome. The Grand Arena. Can't use sights here. If defending god has less health and fewer units than the assaulter, They may draw a card at the end of the battle as long as they had at least one unit participating. Once per game, the controller of this battleground may challenge an assaulter to use this battleground, forcing them to choose it or lose 3 health. I mean, that's pretty cool to me. Once per game, you can just be like, actually, you have to attack this. Well, if you don't want to, you can just lose 3 health. That's cool. Free damage for just making them make a choice. It's pretty neat. Endless Mountains and Endless Ember Keep are kind of similar. Units and sites that participate here take 1 ice damage. Units and sites that participate here take 1 magma damage. Here's our titular card, Endless Ember Keep, Endless Ember Keep. There's also a site of this location too. And finally, Challenger's Arena. Sites are prohibited from being used in this battlefield. Whoa! This deck does not like sites. Anyway, Linebreaker, Death Dealer, Body Count, Riggers of War. All pretty standard fare there, but just more site hate. I think these are pretty cool for like sideboard tech, things like that. If you are worried about running into a more site-focused deck, some of these will see a little bit more play. That's a thing that's kind of new. It's not really mentioned in the rules because the rules aren't like tournament rules. They're just sort of like how to play the game. And as I've been talking to Gary about the game, we've been talking a little bit about how sideboards would work. And I think the right answer to it is like 10 card sideboards, and you can't side out or in avatars or I apologize, the other in relics. Oh yeah, I think it's relics. Either way, there's two cards that are like specific to gods. Those 2 things, you can't side them in. If you're gonna risk running them, you gotta risk running them. But you could swap. You would play your god, play your shrine, and then your opponent would. Then you would both get an opportunity to side. Okay, we get 1 quest, Valiant Stand. Friendly units can reroll failed combat rolls, and deal 3 extra damage with each successful attack as long as the enemy god has at least 12 health more than you. So, if you're losing real bad, this is a cool comeback card. This is nice. One of the issues that this game can run into, just by the nature of how it is if you get behind, it can be hard to come back. This combats that really well. We get 2 copies of Martyrdom. A target creature or target unit you control now has Martyrdom. If the target is sent to the discard past deck, then search your draw future deck for a Zealot card and place it in your hand. Then discard this card. We do get some Zealots in the deck. We get 1 copy of Happiness. Target unit cannot deal damage for the rest of the turn. Pretty good way to get out of being hit by a really big, troublesome attack. We get 3 copies with alternates, various arts, all 3 are different, of Amped Lightning. This is sort of like that card Call Lightning from the original starter and booster sets, although the text no longer says lightning, so that's a good change. But deal 2 damage instead of 1 to target unit or site. If that target is a site, deal an additional damage to each garrisoned unit. You may spend up to 3 additional power to do that much extra damage to the first target. So you can spend up to 5 to do up to 5 damage to something, or you can just spend 2 to do 2. I think this is a cool card. It's a good way to pick off little guys for cheap, or if you need it to be bigger, you can. 2 copies of Vampiric Storm, alternate various arts for these. This is a manifestation. That's the word I was thinking of, manifestation of Yen. Deal 1 damage to all enemy units and sites. Add 1 additional damage for each vampire unit you control on the battle line to a maximum of 6. That's cool. More vampire support is exciting. If used by Yen, Vampiric Storm then becomes a unit that is deployed at the end of the turn. It has damage, accuracy, and health equal to the number of vampires you control to a maximum of 6 and a minimum of 1. It is a beast. That's awesome. There are a ton of vampire cards that exist, and there's even a couple more that exist in here. So getting this as a little bit more love for the vampire decks is exciting. We've got 2 copies of Call of the Wild. Search your future deck for one Feral Spirit and put it directly into play. The Feral Spirit may assault or intercept if the combat phase hasn't been initiated yet, and may use its ability if damage has not been resolved. So that makes sense. Pay 4, play Feral Spirit from your deck, as long as you haven't started combat. You can't play this like during combat, basically. 1 copy of Tsunami. This is a really exciting card. 6 cost spell. Deal 3 water damage to all units and sites that don't have aquatic or water. If used in a battle during the combat phase, Tsunami lets aquatic units attack without paying the 1 power cost. As it says there, water units have to pay 1 to attack because they are like getting out of the water or whatever. Tsunami basically like floods everything and they no longer have to deal with that. We get 2 copies of Sword Fairy Attendant. It's just got some flavor text here that says they're loyal and keep your sword sharp, but it's a 1-cost sword that gives you +3. Pretty great. There's another sword that exists that does a very similar thing. Having more opportunities to run that kind of thing is good. 2 Steel Shield. The inverse, you get +3 defense. We've got 3 copies of Knight in Training. And I'm willing to bet, don't know for sure, willing to bet that this is probably someone important to Gary's baby. There are other cards that he's used of people he knows and things like that. I'm willing to bet that this is probably someone's kid, and probably means a lot to them. But you get Defender and +1 attack. Defender just lets you block 2 guys for 1, that's pretty cool. You get 2 copies of Bone Armor. Different arts, both really cool. Unit gains Terrifying and +3 defense for 2. +3 defense for 2 even wouldn't be that bad, but also getting Terrifying is awesome. Just makes them harder to hit. Plus they have more health. Then we've got Vision Orb. Upgraded unit gains Vigilant. Means they can stop the preemptive strike guys for 2 and +2 accuracy. Fantastic card. And 2 copies of Protective Circle. 3 cost, gives you spell resistance 2 and +5 health. 2 alternate arts, both awesome. So I'll get a little bit closer to the camera here. That one's fun. I actually like this one a little better on this particular pair, but I think they both look great. Alright, getting into units now. We get 3 copies of Zealot, mentioned earlier on one of the previous cards. Zealot gains the morality trait of its controller, so whatever your god has, you also get that trait. It's a 2/2/1 for 1, decent stats. We get 3 alternate arts of that card. This one's really cool. This one's cool too. Reminds me a little of some of the other like cultists and stuff. All 3 of these I think look really good. And then we get 2 copies of Crazed Zealot. Now this is a question I actually asked earlier with another card. When a card mentions play a X card, when it mentions that, it's referring to play a card with like X in the title. So when it says like play a Zealot, you can pick this guy, which is cool. 2 costs, 3/2/1, has Hatred. He gains the morality trait of their controller. He looks cool too. I like the art on him. I like his like sort of like blind and pale eyes there. We come to the Feral Spirit. There are 2. We get 3 copies of this. This is the card that 4-cost spell mentioned. So you pay the 4-cost spell. You play this from your deck. It may become the new target of a spell or attack that causes damage. The damage is automatically successful, and the initial target is spared. As you can see, you pay 4. You get to play this guy, make this guy the target, and then he just like dies or does whatever would happen. That's fine. He's a nice, easy kind of throwaway unit for that purpose. Otherwise, he's a 2-cost 2/2/1 beast, a cheap beast for your other, like this card. Oh no, not this one. The the shrine that gives you 2 power if you have a beast in play. This is a nice, really cheap beast to get in play. There aren't any beasts that are this cheap otherwise. The cheapest one I think is like a 5 or 6. So this is really nice. This is also nice for beast decks. This card here, Lady Jacqueline. This one's really, really special to me. This is my cat, Special Agent Jacqueline Bauer, named after Jack Bauer from 24. She went by Mama Cat most of the time because she's the mom of my other cat, but she just recently passed, and Gary was nice enough to immortalize her on a card. It turned out awesome, and her effect is cool too. She's a 6-cost 1/4/1. She has an ability called 9 Lives, Inspiring, Unique, and she's a Kit, which is a type of cat type unit. Orphaned and raised by the Masters of Stormhaven, Jacqueline trained in the ways of the warrior and diplomat. As a Knight of Stormhaven, she is a special envoy to both Bastion and Escalade, the city above. When Lady Jacqueline is first deployed, you may search your future deck for Lord Commander Faircrest and place him into your hand. Whenever both Lady Jacqueline and Lord Commander Faircrest are deployed by the same controller, they each gain each other's traits. So, we should look at him next. Here he is. Look at this little mouse. Look at how great this guy is. 5-cost 1/4/1, just like she is. Ally and near constant companion to Lady Jacqueline. When Lord Commander Faircrest is first deployed, you may search your future deck for Lady Jacqueline, place her into your hand. Just like her, you can go fetch a friend. Whenever they're both in play, they gain each other's stats. Their effects are exactly the same. Leader, Unique, and Mouse? I don't know. So 9 lives, Inspiring, Unique. So basically she would gain Leader, and he would gain 9 lives and Inspiring. 9 lives is the first time that they would die. They don't. The first time, I think it's first time each turn that they would die. They don't. So they're a lot easier to keep in play than some other cards. We've got a 5-cost card called Ravenous Ghoul. Ravenous Ghoul recovers 1 health for every point of damage they inflict, up to their maximum health, not counting upgrades. So basically they can get back up to 3. It is an undead card, which is great for some of the cards that want that. We also have a Monstrous Ghoul, which is just a little bit of a step up. It is a 2/4/3 instead of a 1/4/3. Costs 1 more, has the same effect. Then we get 2 copies with alternate arts of Killer Flotsam. This one I really like. It's like there's like a big maw there. One with the water. The Killer Flotsam uses the debris and trash that humanity has heaped upon the ocean as a terrible weapon. 6 costs 2/4/3. Anarchy, Water, Stealth, and Aquatic. But it can only intercept unless its controller pays 1, just like every other aquatic unit. But it can attack the turn that it's deployed. So you can pay 6, play it, attack it if you pay 1 more, or if you've got like the spell that made everything water. Using this ability, using him does not hinder the ability to assault. Upgrading him does not hinder his ability to assault that turn, which is great. Most things, if you upgrade them, they also can no longer attack that turn. This card, you can play him, then upgrade him, then still attack with him. Pretty good. I like him a lot. I think, like I mentioned earlier, the water deck really needed some more, and I think this stuff gives it that. We've got 2 copies of Rifleman. Now this one's a cool card too. So this here is Sean. He is the host of the channel Motor City Games, who has also done some roller content and content of his own. I'll include his channel in the description of the video. His content is great. You should check him out. He's a cool guy, and also a fantastic card. 7 cost, 6 attack, 4 accuracy, and 2 life. Fantastic stats. But he has cover fire. Instead of blocking or attacking, he can provide cover fire. 1 enemy unit has their accuracy reduced by 2 to a minimum of 1. Awesome. So you can either choose to just leave him out of battle and just make something much less good at hitting, or you can throw him in front of something and deal 6 damage to their face. It's a huge attacker. 3 copies of Savage Priest. 7 cost 1/5/2 with leader. Savage Priests have leader. When they enter play, increase a friendly non-god unit's attack by 2 to a maximum of 6, and then heal 1 health if that unit has taken any damage. Play for 7. You get a 1/5/2. Leader gives everything +1, and then this also gives something +2. So you kind of get a +3 swing out of a nice 7 cost unit. You get 2 copies of Vampire, spelled a different way than Vampire. Both cool copies. This is an 8 cost 4/5/3. Each time it deals damage, they gain an Ardor point. When they reach 3 Ardor points, they immediately gain the trait Frenzy. If they have Frenzy, they attack a second time. This card is really cool. Basically, get away with 3 attacks with it, and then it becomes a dual attacker. 2 copies of Frontline Veteran. When locked in combat, it deals 1 damage to the unit. It deals 1 damage to units that deal damage to them and are locked in combat with them. All damage the veteran receives is reduced by 1. So it's an 8 cost 2/5/3, which is good, but it deals an additional 1 damage to everything fighting it and takes 1 less damage from things fighting it. So it's kind of got 3, and it's kind of got 4 in a way. This is a cool card. Then we have 2 copies of Lord Commander. 8 cost 1/5/3. Instead of assaulting, the Lord Commander may give up. Instead of assaulting or intercepting, he can give up his attack to allow another unit to gain Frenzy for the battle. Doesn't stack with another Frenzy, so they can't attack 3 times, but you can make something attack twice instead of making a sky attack. That's huge because there are plenty of giant guys. I mean, imagine using Riflemen to attack twice for 12 just because you didn't attack with this guy. That's pretty sweet. Then we have Graham the Bold, who is a Savage Priest as well. He's got the same effects that the other Savage Priest had, but he's a 9 cost 1/5/3 that gives them +3 and heals 2 instead of +2 and heals 1. Then we have the Dragon Beast Ogre. 10 cost 2/4/4. Furious and Terrifying. Great stats, or great traits to have. Cool card. And it's a Dragon Beast for the Scorn effect. Then we have 3 copies of Dragon Beast, the titular card from the box art. It's him. Whoa. But you get 3 great arts. Every one of these is awesome. Dragon Beasts have Flight and Terrifying. Harder to hit. Sure. Then we've got 2 copies of the Absolver of Alu. 10 cost 4/5/2. It has Stealth, Terrifying. It's a cord. Works for Alu, so if your opponent is playing as Alu, you can't play as this. You can't play this card unless you are also Alu. But they have Stealth and are Terrifying. When an Absolver of Alu enters play, they can attack that turn. Also great, a 10 cost 4 attack that can attack the turn you play it. Pretty good. This here is David of, I might mispronounce this, Studio Sequim. They do a lot of X-Files content, as well as some 24 and some other games. Also another big fan of Roar. So it's cool to see him kind of immortalized here too. This is a cool product that's got a lot of community shout out in it. I really like that. We have Greater Magma Spirit. Oh, I lied. We don't have that yet. We have Scoria, a 10 cost 3/4/6. That's pretty good. That's great stats. Has Regenerate, so it can get a life back every turn. Has Overwhelm, means Trample. It has Magma, Regenerate, and Overwhelm traits, as it mentions below, and Loot Drop XP. Loot Drop is a new keyword, and I imagine it means when she dies, your opponent gets an experience. Just my guess. I didn't actually see it on the rules when I was just doing a quick glance over, but that's the only one I don't quite know yet. But that one is what I would imagine. I imagine she drops loot. Kind of a balance to her great stats. Here we've got Greater Magma Spirit. 10 cost, 2/4/4. Magma Spirit, Furious, Regenerate, and Overwhelm. A ton of traits. 2/4/4. And you get 3 fantastic arts for this one. I really like both of these. They look really good together. I mean, this one's cool too, but these two like very clearly go together. We have the Aspect of Eridon, which is awesome. Eridon needed some love. 11 cost, 6/5/6. Huge stats. When entering the battlefield, the Aspect of Eridon's cost are reduced to 1 if you sacrifice a friendly Savage Priest. Sure, easy. We've looked at some of those. When first deployed, an Aspect of Eridon may force a target enemy unit to return to its owner's hand along with upgrades or take 1d6 damage. Great. Awesome. That will maybe kill something or bounce back to their hand. Both things good. There's an Aspect of Apex, which is a very similar card, but for Apex, who also needed a little love. 6/5/6 for 11, same thing. You can make it a 1 cost if you sacrifice a Savage Priest. That's such a huge power. When it's first played, you can pounce on a target to deal 1d6 on a successful attack roll. Just a free attack. You've got Ka Lear, the avatar of Liar. 15 cost like all the other avatars, 6/5/6. Unable to bear the constant responsibility of defending against the wicked Nether, Lear poured all of her hatred into Ka Liar. I don't know. Ka Liar has hatred for Nether and deals 2 extra damage against them, so any Nether type units are going to have trouble fighting her. Otherwise, she's just your avatar for Liar, which is good, so you can shuffle back into your deck if it dies or leaves play. That is it for new cards that are included. There's a small little stack here of just reprints. So you get 3 copies of the Devout in all 3 arts. 0 cost, 0/2/1. Allows you to get +1 power on your power die roll to a max of 6. You gain the Alignment, Morality, and God trait that controls them. This card is fantastic, and it's cool to see it reprinted. 2 copies of Fey Informant. This one has new art that wasn't featured anywhere else, but is a repeat card. It's a 3 cost. After an enemy is declared an attack on a battleground and has chosen their assaulting units, you can choose another battleground instead. That's awesome. You let them make their pick, and you're like, actually, nope, you're gonna fight something else. You get 1 copy of Drown, one of the good 1d6 + 1 damage spells. 2 copies of Disjunction, 1 cost, target rituals destroyed. There's some fantastic rituals. Running copies of these is something most decks will do, and getting 2 more copies of it in a cool new art is really exciting. And you got 2 copies of Disruption. This is a repeat art, but 2 cost, target spell doesn't take effect and is discarded. Must be cast immediately after and before any other actions. Literally just counterspell. They play a spell, you're like, nope, pay 2, doesn't work. Really good, and having more copies of this is always exciting. These are all really powerful reprints. Everyone should be running most of these anyway, so getting more copies, and in most of them new art, is pretty cool. That's it. That's everything in the box. Sorry this took 33 minutes. I really wanted to talk about what this deck actually, like what it's actually for, and what it offers the game. The box, says beginner deck, but it's not. It really isn't that. It's a little deceptive. It's not just like something to pick up and like learn the game with. I mean, you certainly could, but it's not something to like avoid if you're a seasoned player. Because as you saw, there's a ton of stuff in this that's just fantastic. Well, that's it. I'm not going to take too much more of your time. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the inclusion of the cards here. Do you like these stamps? Do you think they're cool? Do you think they should stay? Think you'd like to see more variety of stamps? I think full foils in the future would be maybe cool. At least for like gods and stuff. I think that could be exciting. Overall though, I think this is a really cool product. I'm really happy with it, and it includes some very powerful stuff for building decks. Have a great day. Thanks for hanging out.